Washington - Michael T. Flynn, President Trump's first national security advisor, is under investigation by the Defense Department's Inspector General to determine whether he failed to get permission to receive payment from a foreign government, as he was explicitly told to do, according to documents released on Thursday by the top Democrat on the House Oversight Committee. The Democrat, Representative Elijah E. Cummings of Maryland, also released a letter showing that Mr. Flynn had been warned not to accept compensation from foreign governments without prior approval. That letter, sent to Mr. Flynn around the time he left his earlier post as head of the Defense Intelligence Agency, was dated October 2014 - more than a year before Mr. Flynn received a $45,000 speaking fee from RT, the Kremlin-backed news network. Mr. Cummings slammed White House officials, declining to release to the committee internal documents related to Mr. Flynn after requests from both Republicans and Democrats. White House officials argued that they did not have all the documents, and that those they did have were too sensitive and irrelevant to congressional investigators. "I honestly don't understand why the White House is covering up for Michael Flynn," Mr. Cummings told reporters. He added that if White House officials did not provide the documents, they would need to be subpoenaed, a move Representative Jason Chaffetz of Utah, the committee's Republican chairman, on Tuesday said he believed was unnecessary. Mr. Cummings also said on Thursday that he disagreed with Mr. Chaffetz's decision not to call Mr. Flynn before their committee, and to defer to the investigation conducted by the House Intelligence Committee. Democrats decided to release the documents on Thursday without Mr. Chaffetz's approval, according to a Republican committee aide. Mr. Chaffetz announced late Wednesday he would be away for a few weeks recovering from a medical emergency. Jennifer Werner, Mr. Cummings' spokeswoman, said both parties had worked together and with the Pentagon to prepare unclassified documents to release to the public. She said they informed Mr. Chaffetz of the pending release Thursday morning. Mr. Flynn, an unconventional and often contentious former three-star Army general, has become an increasingly problematic figure. The White House as revelations about his ties abroad continue to mount. He served in the administration for less than a month, being forced out, misleading Vice President Mike Pence about his contact with the Russian ambassador. On Tuesday, Mr. Chaffetz and Mr. Cummings announced it was likely that Mr. Flynn violated federal law by failing to fully disclose his business dealings with Russia, an assertion they made after viewing classified documents, included a form seeking to renew his security clearance in January 2016. Mr. Cummings also distributed an unclassified version of a document, prompted their Tuesday announcement. A letter from the Defense Intelligence Agency informing lawmakers that Mr. Flynn neither sought approval nor reported income from a foreign source. This letter, he said, contradicts the assertion from Mr. Flynn's lawyer that he consulted with the agency about his trip to Moscow. Mr. Flynn's dealings in question included the $45,000 from RT for his 2015 speech, which lawmakers said he did not include on the form. He was photographed on that trip seated beside President Vladimir V. Putin of Russia at a gala. After being forced out of the Trump administration, Mr. Flynn belatedly filed paperwork as a foreign agent. his work lobbying on behalf of Turkey's interests in the United States. He had been hired by a firm owned by a Turkish-American businessman with ties to the Turkish government. The firm paid him more than $500,000. Mr. Flynn has proposed being interviewed by congressional investigators examining Russian interference in the 2016 election in exchange immunity, an offer lawmakers have not yet chosen to accept.